Hey folks, I'm Chris Thornton and this is Not School. I think we can all agree that Niantic have done a fantastic job with Pokemon Go, especially now that they've got the servers working as well so that we can get on pretty much any time of day we want to. However, as I've been playing it, there are a few things which I'm surprised aren't already in the game. So here's a list of 6 things which I'd like to see in a future Pokemon Go update. I have never played a game which has so few instructions. How do you throw a nice or an excellent ball? How do you curve a ball? When you're in a gym, sure, it tells you to swipe left and right to dodge, but it doesn't tell you how to attack. I didn't even know until a couple of days ago, and I've been playing nearly 3 weeks now, didn't even know until a couple of days ago that once you've got a Pokemon in a gym, you can immediately claim some coins. I thought you had to wait for 24 hours before you could claim your first set because I'd misunderstood what it actually said because there was so little information on that. So I don't care whether it's a web page or a PDF or just some notes which someone scrawled on a piece of paper and taken a photo of, but I really would appreciate some instructions to see if there's anything else which I'm missing. I have at least found out some of the things which I need to know about the game online, and it just makes me wonder why isn't there some sort of community messaging system built into the game. In Niantic's previous game, Ingress, there was a messaging system which let you see all messages from people in your area or just from your team, and it allowed you to coordinate attacks. This would be super useful for people trying to take over a gym, and yet it's not present. This must be the only massively multiplayer game in the world which doesn't have some way for players to communicate with each other at all. It seems like a huge oversight, and I don't understand why a relatively simple feature like this isn't there. I can see that there could be a protection related issue in making sure that adults and children are able to communicate safely with one another because you do have a big range of ages playing this game. But even so, this is a problem which plenty of other massively multiplayer games have all tackled successfully and continue to tackle successfully. So why isn't it in this game? I'm pretty fortunate in where I live. There seem to be quite a few Pokemon in the area that show up, plus I can do a nice little loop of 9 different Pokestops and a gym, all within about 20 minutes walk going in a loop back to my own home. And it makes it really straightforward, but there are lots of people out there who don't have that kind of luxury. There are loads of people who might have a Pokestop or a gym near them if they're lucky, maybe not even that. And so they're really playing a different game to the one that I'm playing because they don't have access to the stuff in the game which they need to be able to play it. And it does seem kind of unfair. Again, all these locations have come from Ingress. Ingress was aimed at older players, and so it made more sense there because these were players who could get in a car or get on a bus or get on a train and go to the different locations that they needed to go to play the game. There are far more young kids playing this game though, and so they need to wait until there's an adult who can take them to the Pokestops to be able to play Pokemon, and that just seems bizarre. That it's a game which is for little kids as well as for big kids like me. Why can't they get to the Pokestops? You're excluding a whole load of different people. Now I appreciate it can be a bit tricky knowing exactly where to put these, but I think Niantic really do need to make some sort of effort to be a bit more inclusive for people who don't happen to live in a town where there are a load of stops and gyms already available. Please publish a map. I know that the Intel map in Ingress was a lumpen, horrible, slow-moving website, and I absolutely hated the thing. I don't need a map that looks like that. I don't need live updates on that map, which is what I understand was slowing the Intel map in Ingress down. I just need a map of here are where all the Pokestops are, here are where all the gyms are. It can just be a static page, it can be a layer in Google Maps. I really don't care, I just like to know where they are and what's a gym and what's a stop. Is that so much to ask? One of the things about this game which is already starting to become a problem is high-level players. These players end up with really highly powered Pokemon, they get them in gyms, and then they are very difficult for new players to shift. Now, initially, when I started out, you didn't really see many Pokemon in gyms that were above maybe a CP of 300 or 400. Increasingly now they're getting over 1500 and towards 2000. Now for someone who's been playing as long as I have, again not a problem. I've increased my own stats as those other players have increased theirs. But for someone starting out today, that is pretty intimidating. They are not going to get their Pokemon in that gym for a very long time. They're going to have to work very, very hard to be able to get their Pokemon in those gyms. And that kind of excludes them from the game. Because of course those trainers are still going to be improving their Pokemon as well. It really makes the game a lot less fun for them. And so I think a simple way to deal with this is the way that all sports deal with the fact that you've got very high level athletes and lower level athletes, and they split it up into tiers. So for example, in karate, you wouldn't put a black belt up against a white belt. In boxing, you wouldn't put a heavyweight up against a flyweight. They're separated into those different classes so that everyone can have a reasonable game. And I think it would be pretty simple, not something which would be very difficult to code at all. You'd just make it so that each gym looked at what level you were. So say for example you were level 20, you'd be in the next tier up. So everyone from level 5 to level 20 would be in tier 1. Everyone over level 20 from 21 to 40 would be in tier 2, and so on. That way people would still be able to compete on reasonable terms with one another. You're still going to get people joining the game in 6 months who can actually compete for a gym. Because otherwise, within the next couple of months, new players aren't going to be able to compete for them at all. Pokemon has been around for 21 years now. There have been movies, cartoons, comic books, and of course all those video games. This is a game series which has a really rich and detailed lore to it. And so why on earth, in this new version of Pokemon, is there basically no story at all? I don't know why I'm catching Pokemon. I don't know why I'm on a particular team or what the point of that team is. It's all just a mystery to me. And it's kind of an oversight that there isn't really any story to this game. I feel like it's something which is glaringly missing, more so than anything else. Something which they really need to introduce, and I'm not the only one. Nature abhors a vacuum, but fandom abhors a lack of story. And when Niantic haven't delivered a story, the fans are getting in there first. Tumblr user Domo Fudgy has already written the definitive piece on the personalities of the different teams. I'll leave a link to the original in the description. And what Domo Fudgy says is, Pokemon Go teams be like... You have miscalculated, and that is your grave mistake, for I am the superior trainer, you peasant, here to educate you on the unpleasant truths of this world. Mystic is clearly above you, and only the naive couldn't see that. Hey, pal, let's just have a jolly good time. What? Oh, please don't hurt me. I work at Walgreens. I haven't slept in 40 hours, I can't feel my legs, and I drove directly into an Old Navy for a Squirtle. I am a pretty great actor, but seriously, I don't imagine that that is what Niantic was planning when they originally set out to make this game. And yet that's what they've got now, just because there was no story. So, more than anything else, please, Niantic, let us know what the whole game is about. Those are 6 updates to Pokemon Go which I'd like to see. Did I miss anything out? Let me know in the comments. You can also like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and you can check out the other videos on my channel. Until next time, thanks very much for watching.